How many of you have been told, be supportive, be sensitive, be a good man, and she'll stay? But what happens when you do everything right and she trades you in for a dude with 2 baby mamas and no honor code? You gave her loyalty, love, and your last name. Now she says you're incompatible. If that hits a nerve, good, you're not alone. This isn't about bitterness. It's about truth, power, and why good men keep getting blindsided. So pull up a chair, my brothers, because today we're taking off the blindfold. Hey gang, and welcome back to the sacred halls of Magic's Monologue, where truth doesn't whisper, it roars. I'm Magic, your curator of personal growth and unapologetic reality checks. Today's video, my marriage is over. But before we dig into this wild ride, connect with me on Locals at magicsmonologue.locals.com and over on X at Magic's Monologue, as I'm building my tribe there too. Additionally, you can send a small donation via crypto if you like my work, and that information is down in the description. He served his country, stayed home to raise their kid, and she walked away right into the arms of a man with 2 baby mamas. Why? Because when men give up their edge, martyred women give up the relationship. Let's begin the journey. My wife, who's 26, and I, who's 28, have been together for about 5 years. We have a toddler as well. She works full-time, and I recently medically retired from the military, so my VA benefits allow me to stay home with our kid and still contribute financially. About 2 weeks ago, she said she wanted a divorce. I specifically asked her if there was someone else involved, and she said no, that she felt that we were incompatible. Slap to the back of the head. My brother, 9 out of 10 times, when a woman seeks to leave you and wants to end the relationship and seek a divorce, she has already lined up your replacement. As a rule, women do not leave until they have somewhere to go or someone to soft fall to. Never believe a woman when she tells you there's no one else. At minimum, she has her eyes on someone else. We've been through quite a rough patch in the last year or so, with lots of resentment on both sides. She used to be very insecure and would accuse me of cheating constantly, trying to catch me do something. I never cheated on her, but that's where my resentment came from. Slap to the back of the head. Never put up with a woman who accuses you of cheating when you are not. That is a relationship terminal red flag, and I'll come back and address this later, so stay with me. Hers likely began because I started standing my ground and getting pretty firm about it. Over the years, we just let it fester, I suppose, but we both be pretty mean sometimes, but I always believed we could get through it together with hard work. A month ago, she wanted a break. We talked and had what I thought was a breakthrough. She said she realized she loved me and wanted to work on it. 1 week later, she said she was completely done. She wouldn't attend counseling and didn't love me anymore like that. Now, for the fun part. We talked about divorce, and I cried in ways that I'm not proud of because I believed we could fix this. Slap to the back of the head. Dude, never cry in front of your woman. I know what they say, they're wrong. Because in many cases, it flips an evolutionary switch that they're not even aware of, and it gives many women what they call the ick. I convinced her to give it a month before we filed the paperwork, just to be sure. Well, tonight she took our kid to the neighborhood park. I thought I'd try to walk down while they were there and the way back to have a positive interaction with her and maybe talk about co-parenting stuff to show her I was trying to listen. As I was walking, I saw her with another man walking with my wife and son. This man looked familiar. He walked to his house, which was close by, and she walked with my son to me. I asked who that was, and she immediately got defensive. He's a guy from work who just happens to live down the street. She admitted that she has a crush on this dude and tried to tell me she mentioned it months ago. She did mention months ago that she felt guilty for seeing a man and thinking he was attractive, but she reaffirmed her commitment to me, saying that she wouldn't cheat on me and felt guilty. It's the same man from months ago. Huh, imagine that. But wait, didn't she say it was because you're incompatible? I trusted and believed her like a dummy. It came off as gaslighting to me, but I don't know for sure. It is gaslighting, or more precisely, she lied. I got a little heated, but eventually calmed down, thankfully, because I realized that this crap is over, and all that matters now is being amicable for the kid. I set clear boundaries that I don't want the dude I don't know near my son unless I can meet him, shake his hand, and talk with him for a few minutes just to get a read on him. I also said we should just file as soon as possible so we can agree on everything. Moral to the story, listen to your gut, gentlemen, and I agree with that. I have a feeling deep down she was lying to me about a third party. On top of that, the dude works with her, has 2 baby mamas already, and knows she's married. Hey, that's how Chad, Tyrone, and Juan roll. I should have pushed harder, asking about it, so I wouldn't have groveled like an idiot. Well, at least I'm glad that you understand that groveling was the dumbest move you make, or one of many. Good, at least you recognize that. I'm fully aware and honestly believe at this point she already fornicated with him a while ago, or at the very least had a thought affair, and let that fantasy lead to this, coupled with previous issues we've had. It hurts so bad, dude, that I'm glad that I know that the truth is now. If you read all of this, I sincerely thank you for listening. I struggle pretty bad with PTSD, and being a stay-at-home dad has led me to be pretty reclusive. So I feel really alone and sad right now. I need to get this off my chest in an anonymous way. All right, brother, you gave her loyalty. She gave you a maybe. You gave her peace. She got bored and chose chaos. Let's unpack this from the top, man to man, no therapist lingo, no fluff, just real talk. You served your country, got medically retired, and stepped into a domestic foxhole of being a full-time dad. A man doing what he needs to be done. Some places they call that a real man. Meanwhile, your wife clocked in, wore the slacks, and brought home the check. On paper, that's a partnership. In reality, it's an evolutionary landmine. Because here's the brutal truth. Modern women may say they want an equal partner, but biologically, most of them aren't wired to desire one. They want a man they can look up to, not one they can look down on while he's folding onesies. That's not me saying it. That's biology, backed by decades of social science. The moment you took the nurturing role, the polarity flipped. She didn't see you as the protector anymore, or the provider. She saw you as safe, and safety doesn't stir her hormones. Danger does. Novelty does. Emotional chaos in a beard and a cheap cologne does. And who shows up? Some dude from work with 2 baby mamas and a sexual impulse control of a raccoon on Monster Energy drink. That's who got her butterflies all aflutter, not you. Why? Because you were predictable, responsible, and you were present. He's mysterious, disrespectful, and scarce. And guess what triggers dopamine harder? Scarcity. Look, when a woman becomes the breadwinner, the math shifts. The unspoken deal you provide, she nurtures, gets rewritten. But the primal software that's running her mating psychology, that code hasn't been updated since woolly mammoths were on the menu. Statistically, couples where the woman earns more than the man are 33% more likely to divorce. More women initiate breakups in these situations. Why? Because women associate dominance with desirability, and the second they feel they're wearing the pants, the desire and attraction for you begins to die. By the way, I'll put those sources in the description for those of you that it matters. When you're staying home, folding laundry and wiping noses, her brain isn't going, wow, he's such a good man. It's going, why does this feel off? And when Chad from accounting asks about her weekend at the Keurig machine, that's when the fantasies kick in. And you were trying to do the right thing. You cried, you begged, you believed love could be reasoned with, but you don't negotiate desire. You own it or you lose it. Let me say this clearly. You are not the bad guy. You got hit with a system rigged to punish good men trying to be functional in a dysfunctional age. But now that you've seen the truth, you have no excuses to stay blind. So here's your mission now, soldier. First, lawyer up. You're not just protecting your wallet, you're protecting your son from being dragged through mama's future relationship circus. No random dudes pushing your kid on a swing unless you vet them like a CIA field op. Second, don't wait for her closure. She had closed the door when she let another man walk into her home while you stood in the house you paid for, wondering what went wrong. Third, rebuild, but not for her, for you and your kid. Hit the gym, get that testosterone moving again. Build purpose like you're laying down sandbags in a flood. Reconnect with men who remind you that you're not just a father, you're still a damn warrior. She downgraded from the decorated vet to the Dollar Tree Don Juan who couldn't commit to a sandwich, let alone a family. You didn't lose a wife. You dodged a bullet wearing yoga pants. So don't you dare question your worth because one woman with shifting standards and workplace hormones made a dumb choice. That's on her. This is your wake-up call. She played house with you. She's now playing single with a neighbor. Let her. You go build a kingdom with stone walls, sharp boundaries, and a throne for your legacy, not her leftovers. Because now you know the truth. Women don't leave men they respect. They leave men they can control. You're not broken. You're reborn. Act like it. In the comments section, give this brother your support and words of encouragement. Show him he's not alone. Also, I look forward to your feedback on what I had to say on anything I missed. If this hits home, don't just sit with it. Hit the thumbs up, smash the subscribe, ring the bell so you never miss the truth bombs I drop here. Share this with at least 3 men who need to wake up and rise up. That's how we build this movement, one brother at a time. Got a story that needs to be told? A link that made your jaw drop? Email it to me at stories@magicsmonologue.com. Let's expose the madness and drop some clarity. You're not just watching, you're leading by example, helping other men elevate with wisdom, purpose, and unshakable standards. You're not alone. You're not crazy. And if you're still hungry for more, then click here to watch the next video. Is she emotionally using you? These 5 signs. And that video is coming up right now. Until next time.